Hi guys, and thank you so much for purchasing Executive Suite by David Minton. You are absolutely going to love this. Now, this is an effect that's based on an old effect called the Third Choice by Corinda. It has been performed and sort of released in various forms, but this form, as far as I'm concerned, is the most sort of commercial. So it's not Corinda's original used playing cards, whereas this uses hotel room key cards, which I think opens up the doors to many presentation possibilities, whether you want to use it as a standalone prediction effect, or whether you want to use it as a force for a grander multi-phased effect. So we'll discuss what you get in the box first, and then we'll show you the routine, and we'll talk a little bit more about it, because we've got some great presentation ideas. We've got our very good friend Mick Wilson that shares his presentation. Michael Murray's got some great tips on it. And of course we got a couple of performances from David Minton himself, which he's been doing online. And obviously you can see mine in the trailer. So first of all, let's show you what you get in the box. Then we're going to explain your input to it, because you made a very nice sort of addition and subtlety, which I think has never been done before with this effect, and I think it does elevate it. And we'll explain that in a moment.
As well, guys, you can see we've got the cameras here, because this is another, if you're buying this later on down the line, this is another one of the releases that we've done during lockdown. So that's why we're in our home studio at the minute, but hopefully the camera quality is good and the mic quality and everything like that. And once again, thank you for supporting us in this time. And you are going to love this effect, because I love it so much, isn't it?
It is so good. Really, really cool.
From David Minton comes Executive Suite, a brand new pack small, plays big powerhouse of a mentalism routine.
You are my lovely sisters, for everyone that doesn't know, and I know you all enjoy your holidays. Now the thing is, I enjoy, you know Jenny, you know she loves going to lovely places, and I enjoy the holidays apart from one thing, and that is the day that we check out, we always have an argument. And it's purely because I like to keep all the hotel room key cards, because they remind me of where I've been, whereas Jenny's a stickler for the rules and she likes to hand them back. Apart from one, actually, we got upgraded in one of the hotels we stayed in, and that card here Jenny kept. So one of you is going to take part. Which one of you believes you know Jenny the best? Okay, hold on to that, don't open it just yet. But inside one of these envelopes is the hotel that matches the one in there. Executive
Suite comes ready to perform straight out of the box. You get absolutely everything you need to perform this effect. And with all Alakazam items, you'll know the props are always top quality, and Executive Suite is no exception.
So you've got a choice, Laurie. It could be the blue one, the white one, the orange one, the red one, the green one, or the yellow one.
Red.
Are you sure?
100%.
Right, would you like to change your mind, or would you like to stick with red?
Red.
Sure? Lynn, would you have chosen another one? Don't tell me which one yet.
Yeah.
You would have chosen a different one.
Yeah.
Seal, would you have chosen a different one? Okay, we'll have a look at the red one first.
Executive Suite is a killer prediction that is colourful and super fun to perform.
Le Bohème in Paris. Okay, it was a lovely hotel. And Lynn, you said you would have went for orange. Now I remember orange because that's when we went to visit my friend Leo. We went to Holland. On the way back we stayed in Amsterdam, and this was the Kingfisher Hotel in Amsterdam. Sil, which one would you have gone for?
I'll go for yellow.
You'll go for yellow. Yellow, it was Las Vegas when we visited Las Vegas. In fact, if we would have chose the green one, this would have been Prague, I believe. That was Prague when we went to Prague. The white one was New York when we went at Christmas. That was the Park Central Hotel. And the blue one was a local one. We were doing a convention, and this was London.
You get 2 sets of the envelopes, as well as these custom designed hotel key cards, and we even went to a company that prints the keycards for hotels around the world. So we know it is the best of the best.
But the one you chose was Le Bohème in Paris, yeah? And that was a totally free choice. No way I could have influenced anything. Do me a favour, open up that envelope, because inside, this is where we got upgraded. And what is it?
Paris. Yes.
Le Bohème in Paris. Show the camera.
So
I don't know how you knew that, Lowell, but you did.
I knew it.
Well done.
I'm Harry Nardi, and this is Executive Suite by David Minton.
Inside your box, now I haven't actually got a full set here because I've just got my set. Right. Okay, so you are going to receive 7 envelopes. I've only got 6. You're also going to receive a black one.
Yep.
And you are going to receive, I believe, 2 sets of the envelopes.
Yep. So 2 sets of each colour, including 2 black ones you'll get.
So I like to cut the flaps off my envelopes, but please watch the video first, because Michael Murray's got another way of doing it, just tucking the flaps in. Or you can leave the flaps on, but you've got 2 sets.
I keep the flaps on. I think it's personal preference in it.
Yeah.
But you'll see later on if you want to do it. And yeah, like you said, you get 2 sets. So if you want to do it and then you don't, at least you've got 2 sets.
Yeah.
You know.
So watch the video all the way through. So you're going to receive 2 sets of these. And then you are also going to receive these very special hotel key cards. Okay, now we went and found a producer of hotel key cards, so the quality of these are superb. They're thick. They're not just thin bits of card that are laminated. These truly feel like solid hotel key cards, which is what they are. These are double faced. Okay, so you got your false is Le Bohème in Paris. But on the back of the blue one, or the face of the blue one, should we say, we've got a hotel called the Waverley in London. On the back of the white one, this will be New York. So this is the Park Central. The green one will be Prague.
Yep.
So this is the Marigold in Prague. The orange one I had down as Amsterdam, because I talk about Leo, and that's the Kingfisher. The yellow one, we've got Las Vegas. And the red one we have got Barcelona.
Yeah.
And then you will also receive 2 gag cards. One of them will replace the orange, and it will be the Overlook Hotel, which was from The Shining.
Yep.
And you also receive another one, which is a hotel in Berlin called the Dungeon that you can use. I actually didn't like it at first because I didn't like the idea of having a fun one in there, but the more I've sort of used it, the more I'm enjoying it, because I sort of say, I can't remember what the black one was, and I take it out and I go to Dungeon Berlin. I never stayed in that one, and it's like a sort of throwaway thing, but it gets a really good laugh. And then you get this upgrade card, the purple one, which is Le Bohème Paris, and that is the Presidential Suite upgrade, and that has got a regular back.
And that there's no other purple ones there, so you'll see. Obviously, if that was orange, it wouldn't. Do you know what I mean? It's different colour, so it doesn't have to match depending on the outcome. Yeah,
and remember, this is your upgrade one, so it is.
That's your reveal as such.
Yeah, this will make sense that it is a different colour.
Yeah.
So to set yourself up, like I said, my personal set, I've cut the flaps off, and the reason I've done that is because it doesn't matter what orientation I tip it out, it's always going to look the same. Whereas if you have the flap here, then some of them, or one of them, you're going to tip out this way, and the others you're going to tip out this way. Not that it's a major problem, but like Michael Murray says, you can actually tuck them in if you want. Okay, so you can tuck the red one in, and all you're going to do is prep your envelopes however you want. And you are going to put your corresponding cards into the corresponding envelope. Now, if you are cutting the flap off or pushing the flap in, you'll see that one side of the envelope has got a seam down it.
Yeah.
So that's always my marker. So I will know that if I tip it out the seam way, it will be Le Bohème. All right?
And make sure they're all obviously round the right way, so you don't have to like open it, have a look inside, you know. And it is easy once you know what sides what. I know it might sound complicated, but if you just know that the seam's there, and if the seam's there, it's Paris. It is really simple.
Yeah. So I'm going to prep all these as Michael suggests, even though mine have got the flaps cut off.
And we will go into more detail later, but when I first saw this, I loved it purely for the freeness of the choices.
Yeah.
You know, you clearly say you're going to eliminate some of the envelopes, or depending on your presentation, but I like to eliminate one by one, because then it's a completely free choice. They say what one they want to eliminate, and you get rid of it. There's no, you want to eliminate this, okay, so we'll keep it. Do you know what I mean? There's no
equivocate or anything.
Choices or anything like that. Yeah,
it's really free.
And we've decided to do colour envelopes for two reasons. One of them is because they are now, it looks funner, you know, it's more eye-catching, it looks better to perform, but also for subtlety that we'll talk about later.
Yeah. So I will say as well, I think I've mentioned it before, this is a great idea of David Minton, so you're going to see him performing it a couple of times. Now, when David first sent us the effect, it was very much like Corinda's third choice. It was the same routine, but using the key cards. Recently, we did an academy with Mark James, so we have to give Mark credit, because he done a great little thing where he had sort of a banknight type routine where the pieces of paper in the envelopes matched the colour of the envelopes.
Yeah.
And it's just a really nice little subtlety. He doesn't make a big thing of it. And when Harry saw this effect, because it was you that dealt with David before I did, you saw the effects and said, Dad, you've got to have a look at this, I love it. And Harry said it would be great if we could colour code the cards to the envelopes. And in my mind, that makes it so much more powerful, because it means a switch cannot have taken place.
Yeah.
Okay, because if you know that the yellow card is in the yellow envelope, the green in the green, the white in the white, there's no way I can switch any of those.
Yeah, because it will look wrong. Yeah.
It's obvious. So that's me set up. You could, if you wanted to, pop this in an envelope, or you could pop it down on the table. You can watch the trailers to get the full presentation.
Yeah.
But the workings are really simple. And they are basically, if you want to go and play it bigger and go down Harry's route, you can get the cards eliminated. So we've got 6 different destinations. Remember, you've got the option to have 7 because you have got a black envelope. But we've got 6 different destinations. One's in the yellow envelope, the orange, the yellow, the green, the white, the blue, and the red. And if I was you, I would memorise what location is
which once again isn't difficult when you see, because they are colour coordinated, it's very easy just to link.
Yeah. And then that way you can start talking about the venue before you take the card out.
So if I say white, for example.
So I'd say, white, you want to eliminate the white. That's when we went away for Christmas, actually. And we went to New York, and it was the Park Central Hotel. Yeah, the Park Central Hotel in New York.
Yeah.
That was a great destination, but you didn't want that, so we'll get rid of it.
Yeah.
In fact, Harry, let's choose another one you want to get rid of.
Get rid of blue.
Blue.
Please.
Oh, blue was a local one. That was London. That was the Waverley Hotel in London. But once again, you didn't want that one, so we'll get rid of it. So we got 4 left. We got orange, yellow, green, and red. Another one you don't want.
Get rid of green, please.
Green. Oh, green was Prague. Went there on Mark Spellman's... Wasn't his stag night? I think it might have been his our anniversary boys' night away. Yeah,
anniversary boys' night away. Look at that.
And that was the Marigold Hotel. Lovely. There you go. But you didn't want it. We'll get rid of it. That leaves you with 3 envelopes: orange, yellow, and red.
I do not want the yellow one.
You don't want the yellow one. The yellow one was Las Vegas, so you would have most probably wanted that because you love Vegas. And that was Las Vegas, but you didn't want it, so we'll get rid of it. And obviously, all the way through, I can show there's nothing left in the envelopes, but we'll get rid of that. So you got 2. One we're going to keep, one we're going to get rid of. What we're going to keep, what we're going to get rid of.
Keep the orange.
Keep the orange?
Yes, please.
So we're getting rid of the red?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah.
You love this place. It's Barcelona.
Oh.
That was when we went to Spain, we went to Barcelona, but once again, didn't want it, get rid of it. So all we have now is the orange. And the orange was one of my favourite places because when we went to this hotel, we've been twice. And the second time, they upgraded us. So this was La Bohème in Paris. La Bohème in Paris.
I don't mind that. Happy with that choice.
That's great. But remember I said that I was going to try and influence your choice. I used these specific colours because I knew somehow you would be attracted to the orange. That's why the card that's down here on the table, and it's been down here from the very beginning, is of course La Bohème, Paris, a perfect match.
Lovely.
And there's a nice little touch here from Mick Wilson as well. If you're in this position to display them, you can now square them up and pop them back in the envelope so they're seeing the backs as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's basically it. It's a very short video because we're going to play you some other presentations.
Yeah.
We just wanted to show you the workings. But like I said, Harry came up with the idea of using the colour coded envelopes and cards, which personally, I know Mick Wilson doesn't like to make a point of the colour coding. He likes people to work them out themselves, whereas I prefer to make a point of the colour coding, because I think if you're waiting for your spectators to work out that the yellows with the yellow, the blues with the blue, I just don't think half of them will relate to it, you know?
Yeah, it's really cool, and a really important tip is just to handle the cards freely.
Yeah.
You know, if you're really scared of showing the back, then I don't know, they won't question it, but they might if you're sort of really shy and everything like that. But if you just take them and just be like, oh, what's that one? So I mean, if no one's going to look at the back of it, if you just hold it down like that, I mean, don't obviously show the back, but you know what I mean, just be free with it and no one will question a thing.
No, and that's the thing. Remember, if you haven't got the flaps on yours or you tucked them in, as Michael suggests, just squeeze the envelope, the card pops out, you can show it and hold it at fingertips, they can't see the back. And now I just place it on the envelope. They can see the orange with the orange and place them down. And
as well, guys, if you guys own the perfect parlour stands, this will work great for if you're doing a parlour effect or stage, because they are very colourful, so it will work well on parlour and stage, very eye-catching. It's easy, and of course you don't have to touch anything, which at the time of filming is...
absolutely perfect.
Perfect. So
perfect, and the law.
Yeah, is the law. Yeah, it's literally illegal to not. So, but no, yeah, it's really fun to perform, and you can play it so much bigger, especially if you get a big group of people involved. You know, if you have 6 people and you get each of them just to name one of the ones that they want to eliminate. Yeah, you know, it's really nice. Yeah, very nice. And you could, if you wanted to, get 6 people to name them, and then you put them in front of them. So you wanted the blue one, yeah. You wanted this one, yeah. You wanted this one, yeah. You wanted this one, like to eliminate. And then to the last person, you say, now you're left with this one. This is where we're going to go, unless you want to switch with any of the others. Yeah. And then if you want to, you can just quickly switch because you haven't taken them out the envelopes yet. And then if you want to, you can obviously then do a switch or whatever. Yeah. No, honestly, it's such a beautiful routine. I mean, the colours of the envelopes just pop. So whether you were doing this, like Harry said, parlour or stage, they're very visible. Your handling is very free and fair. Yeah. If you wanted to, you could hand them out to be shuffled. There's absolutely no point. But you could do if you wanted to. But this sort of thing here, they name one. You sure you don't want the white one? Okay, the white one was Las Vegas. And that was when we stayed at the Park Central Hotel. Yeah. And now the envelope goes behind it. And like Harry said, if you've got the perfect parlour stands, they can now go on the stands like that. And no one's going to see it. And it's nice. It's really nice to have an effect. Like, I know Swindle's similar, where it's so simple and easy to follow. You can really sort of work on your presentation, and even things like you're going to get them to pick one out and you sort of have them clustered up but then one of them sticking out. Do you know what I mean? Just little silly mind games like that, which are irrelevant really, but in their head they go, right, I know you want me to pick the orange one, you know, and it's just nice to have fun. And you'll always get it where if you do one, and for example, when I perform MD Mini, which is a different colour effect, it's not like this, but I'll say something like, right, now when you're ready, pick a colour. And if they pick red, I'll say, oh, you went for the, whatever it was, voice, I forgot what I called it, but yeah, you listen to it, and I said when you're ready. So you pick the red one, but let's have a look what it is, you know. And you can have fun, and you will pick up little things, and it's actually nice to put steps in place or hurdles that they might trip over, and you can come back to them and say, "Oh, I don't know if you heard what I was saying, but you know, it's nice, good."
And the other thing is as well, you just reminded me because this was a great idea by David Minton. If you do own an MD Mini, the colours we have gone here are the colours that are on the MD Mini.
Oh, yeah.
So what you could do is you could give them your MD Mini, get them to shake it up in a cup so they don't know what colour it is, and tip the cup upside down. So now I automatically know they chose yellow, but they don't know it. So now I could say, okay, so you've chose one of the 6 colours. You don't know which one it is. I don't know which one it is. But if the dice is on orange,
nice,
you will be at the Kingfisher Hotel. If the dice is on yellow, you know, you'll be at this one.
Very
Do you know
nice.
what I mean? So, and then you say, okay, let's have a look what colour you want. You got. Okay, so you got the yellow. That was La Boheme in Paris.
Yeah, wicked. Very nice.
And that's a lovely little touch by David Minton. But there are plenty of additional bits to watch on this video. So now we've shown you the workings, let's go on and see some more of the presentations.
Oliver and Patrick. Oliver, really, do you know what that might be? And it's got a little magnetic stripe on the back. I know, Patrick, you know what this is, don't you?
It's a key, an access key for a hotel room.
Yes, that's right. So it's got the logo for the hotel there, the Holiday Inn, and the magnetic strip there, and you swipe that down the door, and it lets you into your room. Patrick's wondering what I'm doing with a Holiday Inn key card, but I used to collect them. So lovely hotels I'd been in, like the Holiday Inn, for example. I'd collect these little key cards as mementos of my stay. I'd borrow them from the hotel, so I don't suggest you ever do that, Oliver. But but there we are. So that's from the Holiday Inn, one of my travels, and like your dad, Oliver, like Patrick, over the course of these projects, I've travelled around the world and stayed in some very interesting places. And I actually have 10 hotel key cards here from my favourite, some of my favourite hotels I've stayed in. There we are. So actually there are 6 of them there. And I've got different coloured... I can't see from the screen. Oliver, are you right or left-handed?
I'm right-handed.
And Patrick, you're the same?
I'm right-handed too.
Good. Okay, so I think this will work. I've actually made a prediction of a place that I'd like to travel to and a celebrity I'd like to travel with. And we'll see if I can influence you to make the same decisions. So we're going to vote off 5 of these coloured envelopes. To leave us with 1 remaining hotel key card, and I hope you're going to leave the one that is my absolute favourite place in the world to travel to. So, Oliver, do you want to go first? Can you vote off one of these colours?
I'll just choose one.
Blue.
Blue. So we'll vote off the blue here. Let's see which one you voted off. I think that's London, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Waverley Hotel, London. So that's a good one to vote off, actually, Oliver. You've done well. Patrick and I, we know London quite well, don't we? And it has lots of wonderful sights to see. But perhaps when you work there every day, you get maybe a bit blasé to it. So London, I guess the closest one to where you live, Oliver. Patrick, which colour are you going to vote off?
I will vote off the green one.
The green one. Okay, this is slightly further afield. This was a nice little hotel I travelled to in Prague. Have you ever been to Prague, either of you?
No.
No. So I went actually for the company. This was when we had a Czech service in Prague, and I visited the Cafe Imperial, which was fabulous. It's a very grand cafe. You can still visit there, but they had this tradition where you could buy a plate of yesterday's stale donuts. And once you bought the plate, you could just throw them at whoever you wanted, any of the customers, any of the staff. And it was this big tradition. So they'd always keep yesterday's stale donuts for people to purchase and then throw at other clientele. It's since been bought by a new chef, a star chef, who has renovated it and got rid of that tradition. So unfortunately, you can't throw the pastries around now, but you can still visit the Cafe Imperial. Wonderful mosaics. So Oliver, I think it's your turn again. So a second colour for you to vote off.
I'll do orange.
Orange, okay. This was a place. This is a place I still like to visit, actually. So it's Amsterdam. So that's the Kingfisher Hotel in Amsterdam there. And Amsterdam has lots of attractions, I guess, but loads of art galleries, which is the Van Gogh Museum especially. Fabulous, well worth visiting. And the Rijksmuseum, and loads of amazing art in Amsterdam. And did you know that it's quite flat? So lots of people cycle in Amsterdam, and it's known for its canals, I guess. But every year they dredge between 12 and 15,000 bicycles out of the canals. So whether people have been smoking or drinking or not, I don't know. But there we go. So Patrick, it's going to be your final choice, Patrick. So red, yellow, or white we've got left. So which one would you like to get rid of?
I think we'll go for white next. Please.
White, okay. So again, this is one of my favourite cities, actually. This is the Lincoln Hotel. Sorry, it's not the Lincoln. It's the Park Central Hotel in New York. It's a bit of a boring card, that one, actually. Yes, but New York. Did you know that New York law, there's still a law that you have to purchase a license before you can hang clothes out on a clothesline in New York City? So there we are. It's true. So now, Oliver, this is the big decision because we've only got 2 envelopes left. And I'm not going to tell you yet whether you've done okay so far, but this is the final decision. So you've kind of got 50-50. Is it going to be red or yellow?
I'll go red.
So just to be clear, we're voting off the red, yeah? Yeah, okay. So this is, again, well, I love all of these places. I mean, they're all my favourites, really. But that's Barcelona, and I'm not going to try and pronounce that one. It's a hotel in Barcelona. Barcelona probably famous it's famous for a number of things, but certainly its beaches now. Its beaches were voted #1 beaches in the world, and they're completely artificial. So prior to the 1992 Olympics, Barcelona didn't have a single beach, and they just imported all the sand and created these beaches, and they've now become one of the big tourist attractions for the city. Brilliant. So you voted off the red card, the orange card, the green card, the blue card, and the white card. Should we see here what you've actually left in the yellow envelope, the hotel you left? So let's see what that is. It's La Bohème in Paris. It's possibly named after the Puccini opera, but La Bohème means the Bohemians, I guess, the artists. So that's brilliant. So on this little trip we're imagining after lockdown, we're going to go to Paris. Okay, so let's see who we're going with. So I have here a book of celebrity fails. So these are stupid things that celebrities have said. So there's Oliver. I guess there's most celebrities tend to say quite stupid things, but anyway, we'll see. It's an American book, so some of them you may not have heard of. But Patrick, we won't go with your decision, but just name me a number between 10 and 120, let's say.
23.
23. Great. So actually so we can see this, that's page 22 and 23. This is probably a celebrity you haven't heard of, or Patrick, you may have done. No. So a musician, pop singer, I think, well, actually he's probably better known as a comedian, I guess, but writes funny kind of Mickey Take songs. Weird Al Yankovic. Okay. Patrick, just give me another number because he's possibly not
100.
famous. 100. Let's see what we have here. I've no idea who this is. Kirstie Alley, and it's got a picture of the Church of Scientology.
She was in Cheers, was she?
Oh, was she? Is she an actress?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yes. Well, she played Rebecca Howe. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there we are. I'm sure she hasn't heard of me either. So, Oliver, a number, please, between 10 and 120. And this is, whatever you say, this is the person we'll go to Paris with.
49.
49. Oh. Mm-hmm. I hope you've heard of this person. So that is, what is that, 40, 48 and 49. Tom Cruise. Have you both heard of Tom Cruise?
Yeah, famous
I
actor.
haven't.
Famous action actor. Does all his own stunts.
So, Tom Cruise, and which one did you choose? The yellow one?
Yeah.
So that was Paris. So hopefully I've influenced you to pick the right page number and the right hotel key card. And you might have spotted that behind me I have a prediction in a picture frame, which appears slightly empty. Anyway, there we are. What should happen is I should be able to turn this round now and show you a picture of Tom Cruise in Paris in front of the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So you followed my influencing perfectly, both of you, Patrick and Oliver, and congratulations. So hopefully, when all this is finished, I'm sure, Oliver, that your father will arrange an all expenses paid trip to Paris with the action hero Tom Cruise.
Very good.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hi Dan, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good man. Have you been on holiday recently, Dan?
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of. What do you mean by kind of?
I was in New Zealand for 5 months.
Exotic. But talking of holidays, me and my missus used to go on lots of holidays, me and my wife. Yeah. Loads of holidays. Not like back to back, but plenty. And it was all sun, sand, lager, lounging around. Coming home looking like a couple of orangutans, to be honest with you. But that got boring. We wanted something interesting. So we read the review sites like TripAdvisor. But there was nothing there that blew her away, really. So as a result of following them, we kind of had a couple of stinkers. But I thought, we'll go our own gut instinct, have holidays, but we'll get involved when we come back. We'll write our own reviews on these websites and hopefully help other people. But I'm digressing anyway. You're probably wondering what all of these envelopes are for.
Yeah.
They are connected to holidays, and obviously being in New Zealand, you said you travelled around New Zealand?
Yeah.
So you'll have seen plenty of hotel key cards and the like.
And that's what all of these are. Okay, all different key cards that are favourites of mine, or ones that I liked. Got us into trouble because the wife accused us of thieving, pinching, but I thought it's only a few pence for a bit of plastic, but it still never went down well. But went back to this one hotel several times, and on my 5th visit, they decided to upgrade me to the presidential suite for going back for like loyalty.
All right.
And therein lies the irony, because the wife pinched the key card, and it's in that envelope there, because it was new, it was different, and it was posh, and it was a presidential suite. Okay, so Dan, would you say you were easily influenced?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Because I've actually influenced you into knowing which colour you need to call out, because you're going to call out one of these for us now, but you already know exactly which one it is. So don't think about it, just call out the colour.
Orange.
Exactly, perfect. Because if you remember back to the start, I told you the tale about how me and my wife went on plenty of holidays. You know, we had some good, some bad. But, you know, we used to lounge around the pool and we came back looking like a couple of orangutans. The point that I wanted you to pick up on more than anything else, hence you picked the orange envelope to match the colour of the orangutan. But I'll show you some of the other hotels we've been to. Ones that I didn't want you to be influenced by. We've got the Lincoln in Las Vegas, which we had to go to see the magicians, of course. On the way back, we stopped at the Waverley in London, which is ironic that it's in the blue envelope because it was bucketing down all weekend and we saw none of London whatsoever. This is up there with the favourites. This is in Berlin, the Dungeon Hotel. Because H.H. Holmes, the murder hotel real life case, the hotel is the holiday, but thankfully you don't actually get killed. You know, I mentioned we had a couple of stinkers. This was the worst holiday we've ever had. Central Perk, some play on words, and it was as cheesy as Central Perk in Friends. This one sticks out a mile because Prague was our honeymoon holiday. If you can call a honeymoon a holiday, and my absolute favourite of all, Blood Red, Murder, Red Rum. This actually exists from The Shining, the Overlook Hotel.
Really?
Yes, it really exists, and it is identical to the hotel in the film, minus the cast. And there's actually a room in there which has a mock-up of where the blood comes across the elevator doors. And there's a room where he finds the woman in the bath. Really interesting. And as interesting all that is, you were successfully influenced to pick the orange envelope. And I said that the one key that Teresa had kept was in there. Now obviously we've been to a hotel before, and obviously I had a key, so we'll do this together. Take your envelope, turn it over, and if you'd like to slowly take it out. The hotel we visited several times was La Bohème in Paris, for obvious romantic reasons. Now I'll be honest with you, Dan, I appreciate you taking the time to do this with me, and I'd love to let you keep this, but unfortunately you can't, because that's the wife's key. And she has to have it back, unfortunately, but thanks for your time.
Cheers.
Hi, my name is Mick Wilson, and this is...
I'm Daniel Dorian Johnson.
And I believe Michael Murray's floating around somewhere.
Somewhere off camera, yeah.
Yes, he is. We'll bring him in at some point. Just would like to say welcome to our collective handling variations on Executive Suite. So Dan, just cover a couple of the little differences that we've put in. Essentially what I discovered with this was the messages hide the colours inside your original opening. Mine is what you saw in the performance. I decided to just use speech centred around this holiday, but it could be anything. You know, it could be literally anything, just to hide the colours, which then gives you the influence angle. And with regards to the timing of everything, I found that if you, in a conversational way, do the intro and then turn and say, oh sorry, I digress, I suppose you're wondering what these envelopes are for, it almost gets you to cancel that bit out in your mind. And then when I talk about the envelopes and the keys and what they're from, but then I talk about Teresa pinching the key, or whoever the suspect is, And then when I mention influence, hopefully your brain, and every time we've done it for people so far, is they revert back to this little story about the hotel key cards. And a lot of the time when I've asked them afterwards, they think that I've really tried to push for green because of the envy, which during our discussions with Michael Murray yesterday, something worth looking into, folks, is you could write on the back of there, "You'll not pick me," because it would be the most obvious, but this would need road testing.
Yeah.
You know, but I found, what you were saying, Dan?
Yeah, I think that might be a safer bet for somebody like me who is pretty much colour coded, because it would be the obvious influence, so most people are going to shy away from it. So that would be a safer road for somebody like me, or if you colour code most of your stuff to one of these colours, that would probably be much safer. But yeah, like you say, with that being the final prompt, it's got a much higher.
It's got a very high rate of being avoided.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what they choose and what they don't choose. So let's go through what is said in that initial script. Okay. So the script itself is, we had lots of holidays.
Yeah.
Okay. We went on lots of holidays, not back-to-back holidays. And it was all sun, sand, and lager, which I think is a decent reference for yellow. And we came back looking like orangutans. We then read various websites like TripAdvisor, but we found nothing that blew us away. We got involved, we decided to write our own reviews.
I love that one.
It's cheeky.
Yeah.
And then obviously at the end, when you start talking about the keys, it's not included in the start. You talk about envy, and as we've just mentioned, how they might possibly avoid that because it feels ridiculously obvious. So that's the colours all encompassed. So Steve Hairsine had a couple of ideas with regards to the script and just slight variations, but this is what I like because it's getting people to go their own way already. But basing off my script, he'd sort of like said that going around the reading of the website, you've read the TripAdvisor reviews, but they didn't have anything of depth or range that blew us away. You know, we could they were all white, but there was nothing that blew us away. So you can see the variations just within the structure of that script.
The depth or range thing is such a nice way of bringing orange. I really like the idea of splitting up the faux influence across two words. It harkens back to when Darren did the newspaper prediction, force whatever, in his show, and he had the film cut together throughout the show of him doing the influence, and one of them was think of Mail to force the Daily Mail, and just that split up. Awesome.
So of course now this brings us back to pulling these back out in the performance, depending on which colour that they say. You know, now because I know this back to front, I'll put these into the order that they are put into the script itself, and we'll take it from there. So we've got yellow, orange, red, blue. I always put the black in the middle for some reason because it stands out. People, in some performance, people say they've avoided it because the black's in the middle.
Although obviously it doesn't matter if they avoid or
I mean the way you lay these out makes no difference whatsoever. But the beauty of it is if they call for the yellow, you're going to reference them back to sun, sand, lager, which kind of stands out because it's not sun, sea and sand. Black to back is, I like it, it's cheeky, it flies. And it's early on in the speech, so it tends not to be picked up on, like, obviously. And another cheeky one that makes you grin every time. We'll write our own reviews. It's blatantly said, you know, and Steve's edition of they were all white. You know, nothing that blew us away. Again, on the blue, blew us away. And again, seeing as I said before, you can vary this whichever way you want. and the green for the envious. And Steve had a great suggestion for this, because it's all sun, sea and sand, whichever way you look at it if you're doing a holiday approach. Steve Haysine had the suggestion of saying we return to our green and pleasant, albeit damp, England to write our reviews.
That's nice, yeah.
Which I thought was nice. But I just wanted to take advantage of putting it outside of that original sort of like script.
Yeah.
Because I like the idea of just making them partially forget that. Because if they do say green, if they do decide to go for it, there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't mention the previous script. You know, say I did all of that preamble, and yet you picked up on the last thing I said, which is exactly what I wanted you to do.
Mm.
So it's all there to be revealed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome.
Okay, so talking about the setup of the effect, obviously you know the main setup from the original instructions. You'll have noticed that on my performance I keep the flaps on, but the reason I do that is for the reveal at the end. I think there's something really beautiful in getting the spectator to do it at the same time of taking the envelope, turning it over and revealing the card. Now that inherently gave me a bit of a problem, because I thought, yeah, there is a lot more focus on the envelopes as you do these reveals. You know, you're opening essentially 6 envelopes in this direction.
Mm-hmm.
But by taking it and lifting the card immediately to here, we hide the double facer on the back, but we draw attention to the card. And I think it's important that you know what the hotels and everything on the card are, so you can tell a little tale, like what I did with regards to the Waverley. I know the hotels before I'm even taking them out the envelope. There's a massive familiarity, which I think is important, because you're claiming that you've kept these for a reason.
Here, yeah.
You know, you've been here and you kept it because it was nice or it held a great memory.
Yeah.
So yeah, to get over that wee issue of this focus of the envelopes is, as we remove and lift to this and talk about it because we know it back to front, people don't necessarily notice this as you put it down, because the focus is here and there's a bit of an interesting tale. But what we learned as we went through this and discussed this further, you can do a mixture of putting the envelope just straight down, flap up.
Yeah.
Or what I do most of the time is just turn it and put it down. The point being, at the end, as you put each card on, as you're taking the envelopes and revealing each one, what you're creating is this image here, which we'll give you a close-up on. And you're getting these cards all left with these envelopes lying face up. All the envelopes are essentially in this state with their cards lying on top of them. So when we do get to that final reveal, my apologies Dan, when we get to that final reveal and we take these out, we can show to the camera or to the other spectators, they see them.
Yeah.
And everything's copacetic with regards to what's orientated where.
Yeah.
But now we also have the little advantage, and this just came by pure fluke, by literally putting them back together, and my closing line of talking about it being the wife's card, it's natural for me to just hold these square, pop them in the envelope as you just pop them back in, and it's just that one little subliminal flash.
Little subtle flash of the back. Yeah.
And I don't think you should really draw much attention to the back, because it's the only one you're ever going to see.
Yeah.
So let's not make a big thing of it. But we're on the way out of the effect now. The effect is finished.
Yeah.
You know, Michael has a nice little touch with regards to doing it this way, which gives some great other convincers, along with some other ideas, which Dan has some ideas as well that they're going to share with you. So the story itself, it's Peter's story. You know, I've just added the influence bit at the start.
Yeah.
When Peter first showed this to me, he told the story of collecting the keys and the fact that Jenny sort of like kept the other one.
Yeah.
You know, that come out somewhere in the mix. I don't know if it was mine or Peter's, whatever. But I love that humour of the person who was kicking off was the one who kept the posh card.
Yeah.
You know, it gave you that motivation. And other things to point out is also during this, the stories that were mentioned with the blue one, I mentioned that we went to that hotel in London.
It was raining.
It was raining.
Yeah.
You know, it's ironic how it's in the blue envelope because it's raining. So we're drawing you into these colours without specifically mentioning them.
Yeah.
You know, with regards to the envelopes being, you know, empty, so to speak, I think just putting them down, the weight of them speaks volumes, but the actual convincer is at the end because they're handling one and they're watching me handle the double-faced card, essentially.
Yeah.
So we're both doing this. There's so much attention coming onto this envelope at this point. So they're going to see this.
Yeah.
You know, you could even tip it out and that'll give you that idea. That's enough. So it's, I think subliminally, if it's, you know, if this one's only got one, then surely the rest have only got one. And it's the fact that even though the flaps up, I am pouring them out and then just turning them and dropping them down casually, as this is being shown up here. I think that kind of takes care of itself. And obviously with the red one, I talk about the murder and red rum.
The Shining references.
Yeah. And I think the one card that really stands out, which they should get it without you saying a word, is by the time you get to the dungeon, it kind of, to me, that just speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Black card, black envelope.
Berlin,
But
so it reminds me of some very interesting times in Berlin.
But we'll save them for another video.
Especially under the moniker The Dungeon,
Yeah, but I mean, again, going back to the story as well, Dan, it's like that they are just, my story of H.H. Holmes was by pure fluke.
We went to Berlin and stayed in the dungeon. That was a bit of a pain in the arse. Sorry. You can have that one. That's free with the DVD. Go on.
No, but it's them little things that I think make the difference as you take them out the envelope.
Yeah.
I think I've just about covered everything that I'd sort of like come up with regards to this trick. It was brilliant. I love the effect. It was totally inspiring. I'd happily perform it Pete's way, you know, as it says in the original, cut the envelopes off. I know the way I'm performing it here is quite a long performance. Excuse me, but that's sort of like where I'm comfortable. I'm more of a parlour storyteller type performer. But the main message is, if you want to do influence, hide it in plain sight in the script you're using, as long or as short as you want it to be.
Yeah.
You know, and you've got that influence aspect there. And just remember the placement of where you put them influences. I know Dan's already stripped this back down to a very short script.
Yeah, I'm going to do this with 3 envelopes.
You know, so, but the beauty of it is, when I spoke to Steve Hayesine, he's pretty much made his own story up, come up with his own suggestions for this. I've shown it to Mike Donoghue, I've shown it to Michael. It's really inspired them straight away, so that's not necessarily my take on it. The fact that the effect itself is inspiring. And now I'll hand you over to Dan and Michael for their contributions.
Okay, so my main variation on this is primarily how the cards are set in the envelopes. I, like Mick, prefer to use the flaps because in my mind, if you're going to have an envelope, you might as well keep those because that just looks like an envelope. I don't like losing flaps. That's just my own personal preference. As well as if you were to actually open up an envelope by yourself, like Michael will do in a minute, it's just like you're naturally going to think to move the flap. But the way I set everything up, in the red envelope I have the final reveal, because I don't want blacks to match, because I'm using the black card because of that amazing joke I thought up on the fly about 10 minutes ago. That will take a lot of more shopping, but eventually will work in. And in the other envelopes, facing up as it would naturally be, is the false sides. So on the back is the matching sides, the dupes set through. That's so Michael, just name any one of the colours, green, white or black.
I shall go for white.
Alright, fine. No, that's alright. So during the course of performance, I can, in a similar manner to Pete, flip up and show you the other envelope, the other hotel keys, just as casually as tipping them up to display them, tipping them out. to display them. And then when it comes to talking about these final envelopes, now we're going to see what we've got. Pick up your envelope.
Yep.
And you see how he just naturally picked that up and brought that flat towards himself. Awesome. I'm going to take the cards out of the envelope at roughly the same time. I have the Bohemian, the La Boheme, and you have the
La Boheme.
The Executive Suite La Boheme. So just that small change in the orientation in the envelopes and that adjustment of how you're doing that final reveal, not only just, to me personally, feels a lot more natural, it actually brings the focus of the final reveal up towards the face area, which realistically, as entertainers, you're wanting people to remember.
True.
That's my main input on the effect.
Okay, so after discussing this with Mick and Dan, I really like the idea of Dan's setup, i.e. to have the indifferent sides facing up over so you can open up the flap and tip them out. I think there's a side benefit to this in the fact that if you actually tip the cards so far, as you are going to discuss a little bit about each of them, you can actually use the flap of the envelope itself to actually cover any flash that you could potentially get from the other side. So this just acts as like a nice little security if you inadvertently flash the cards. Another thing that I would do is, after I've actually taken the cards out of the envelope, just select a colour for me, Dan.
Yellow.
Yellow. So that one would be slid forward. We would then take these cards, and what we would do is we would comment on the card. Then what we do is actually, as soon as we finish the comment, we'd slide it back inside the envelope and place it onto the table. The reason being is if we actually go through all of the envelopes in this fashion, it means that we're actually instantly resetting the effect as we go. So we'd be in a position here where all of the envelopes and all of the cards have been shown right through to the very last one. Now what we can do to clean up is all we need to do is just tap, and obviously everything's now reset, keeps it clean. It also means that if we're picking any of the cards up off the table along with the envelopes, so again we're not going to inadvertently flash the backs of them, and also we can immediately, when we get to the end of the effect, we can immediately pick these up, dispose of them, so we're now basically down to this situation here. Now there's two things that I would do at this point. The first thing that I would do is I would actually take the actual revelation card and I would place that face down inside the envelope. The reason why I would do that will become apparent in a moment's time, because we're going to have the added subtlety of being able to actually show both sides of a card to the audience and also to the participant who's helping without saying, oh, by the way, do you realise this has got a back? So once we're at this point, rather than have the participant open up the gimmicked card, the double-sided card, what I would do is I would actually pass the prediction card to the participant, and I would say, what I want you to do is follow me. Pick up your envelope, open the flap, and reach inside and pull out the card. Now notice what happens. When I've pulled out the card, the correct side is actually shown, the prediction side is shown to the audience, and also is shown to Dan as well. However, Dan is showing the correct prediction to the audience, but the back of the card is facing him. And now I can say, and if you take a look, the prediction is correct. He now basically sees this side, but he also inadvertently flashes the back of this card to the audience, so they've seen the front and backs of at least one of the cards without obviously drawing too much heat to it. The only other thing that I would add to this is you may as well actually take advantage by, I think Mick mentioned this a little bit earlier, by writing a little message on the back of one of the envelopes. If you start performing this for any length of time, I can almost guarantee that you're going to get one of the colours that are going to be more popular than the others, for whatever reason. So what I would maybe suggest doing is, right, you will select this envelope on the back of that one. Now, what's nice about that is...
because they're never going to see it if it doesn't come up.
If that happens, then great. Obviously, the job is done, and you could actually reveal the other envelopes as well. I was doubly sure that would happen. If not, you can easily hide that envelope amongst the rest as you're showing the backs of them. So you may as well take advantage of the fact that you could have that extra revelation, which is basically built into the effect without fear of it being exposed if it's not needed. So you may as well take full advantage of that. So those are a few little tips and ideas, and I hope you enjoy them. so here's a couple of additional thoughts that I hope you guys find interesting. Firstly, on the debate as to whether you should remove the flaps of the envelopes or not, my advice is not to bother, but instead to actually just tuck them in. This helps to maintain the integrity of the envelope and also reinforce its opening, and yet it does not hinder the insertion or subsequent removal of any of the cards. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick run through of an alternative handling for actually turning over the selected envelope. The nice thing about this handling is the turnover never actually happens. And you will understand, this will make sense in a moment. So let me run you through a typical demonstration. So what I would like you to do is just select any colour. Any colour. The participant might select blue. Interesting that you should select blue because you could have chosen the white, but you didn't. You could have chosen the yellow envelope, but you didn't. In fact, you didn't want any of those three colours. You didn't want the green or the white, it was the blue one that you wanted. True? And now we can safely tip out the contents and obviously reveal Labo M is the only one that's now shown on the selected colour. Okay, so I think you will appreciate the nice thing about this is, if I very quickly just get this reset. The nice thing about this is that that chosen colour never gets turned over, or they never see any discrepancy with regards to anything going on with their chosen envelope. So let me just make sure, yep, I've got this all correct. So let me suggest for a moment that the participant named the black envelope this time. Interesting that you named black because you could have chosen yellow. Notice that chosen envelope has never been turned over. You could have also chosen green had you wanted to, but you didn't. You didn't want the blue, the green or the red. You didn't want the white or the yellow. The black is what you wanted. And now we could safely take out this card, which is the Lincoln. The next one, which is the Central Park Hotel, the Overlook Hotel, the Marigold Hotel, and also the Waverley, and obviously reveal the Labo M. One other little point, I actually inserted these the wrong way into the envelopes because I was planning on doing the explanation from behind, which I will do in a moment. What is always wise is to actually, in my belief, is to actually place the cards inside the envelopes so that the reveals are ready to show. So let me just put those in like that, and we shall do another very quick demo. So from here we would be like this. Okay, so we would say choose a colour, and in this instance the participant might choose red. That's interesting because you could have chosen the white envelope, or you could have chosen the yellow envelope, but you didn't want yellow, you didn't want black, you didn't want blue. You wanted the red, yes? Okay, and now obviously when we tip them out this way, which is much better, we can actually reveal Central Park Hotel, we can reveal the Marigold Hotel, we can reveal the Dungeon Hotel, we can reveal the Lincoln, we can reveal the Waverley, and instantly produce Labo M. So let's now go to an over-the-shoulder shot and walk you through exactly what's going on there. Okay, so let me provide a little bit more detail as to the performance and handling for this idea. First of all, you will have noticed that we've tucked each of the flaps into the envelope itself so that it reinforces the opening to prevent any damage, but yet still doesn't hinder the insertion or withdrawal of any of the cards. The next thing that we've done is we've laid out all of the cards so that the fourth side is facing up over Labo M all the way through, and exactly the same with the envelopes. The envelopes have actually got two sides. They've got a plain side and they also have a side which has two glued edges. So we've ensured that all of the glued edges are facing up over, and then we insert the card so that the Labo M fourth side marries up with the glued edges of each of the envelopes. Once that has been done, we're actually going to alternate the order, the glued and non-glued side of the envelopes as follows. So we pick up a glued side, and then we place a non-glued side facing up, then a glued side facing up, then a non-glued side, then a glued side, and then a non-glued side. So ostensibly speaking, if we were to examine the contents of these envelopes, we would have non-force, labo-M, non-force, labo-M, non-force, labo-M. So in essence, they're just alternated. Incidentally, because we are just using 6 envelopes rather than the 7, by the way, I don't think that distracts from the routine in any way. It makes it super efficient and doesn't affect the impact in any way. By having 6, this becomes a cyclical stack, so that we could, if we wish, give the envelopes a couple of cuts. That doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter if we actually have a non-force side, a smooth side on top, or the flap side of the envelope. That does not matter. Now, there are 2 things which can happen here. Either A, the participant can now choose an envelope which has its flap side facing up. So in this case, we've got the blue, the yellow, and the red. Or alternatively, they may choose one of the ones which is flap side down. So let's detail how to handle each instance. If the participant chooses a colour which has got its flap side facing up over, so in this case let's say they chose blue, what we would need to do is we would need to cut the stack so that their chosen envelope ends second from top. Okay, in this instance it's already there, so we could say that's interesting that you chose blue. You could have chosen green. Okay, and we comment on whatever is above it. Now let's say, for example, the participant chose yellow instead. What we would do is we would say that's interesting because you could have chosen white. And what we do is we need to ensure that the chosen envelope is second from the top. So if they choose, in this case, blue, which is right down here, we say that's interesting because you could have chosen green, but you didn't. So in other words, if they choose any of the colours whereby the flap of the envelope is facing up over, we want it to be in a position where it's second from top. Okay, and the reason or the motivation behind this is we're going to just point out whatever colours above it. So if they chose blue, that's interesting, you could have chosen green, nothing would need doing. If they choose yellow, that's interesting, you could have chose white, and it's now second from the top. Or if we were they chose the bottom one, chose blue, that's interesting, you could have chosen green, but you didn't. Now what that does, that positions the selected card so that it's in between 2 cards which could be revealed. So if we would just do straight up reveal this set of 3 envelopes here, then we could very cleanly remove the cards and show 2 non-forces with their chosen colour being the one that matches what's inside the predicted envelope. The only thing that's left to do is clean up this lower 3 situation, whereby we have 2 flaps facing up over and 1 facing down over. And all we do to remedy that situation is do 2 simple steps. Let me just push these in. So after, let's just recap what's happened so far. They've chosen one, let's say they chose yellow. It's interesting because you could have chosen white, but you didn't. We will now spread over and we're going to turn over the second envelope from the bottom. So remember, they've chosen yellow. We're now basically going to find the second from bottom envelope and we're going to turn that over 3 times. That's interesting because you could have chosen white, but you didn't. You could have chosen green, but you didn't. And we're going to turn that envelope 3 times, i.e. an odd number of times. So you will notice that the bottom 3 now all have the flaps facing up over. But you didn't. You didn't choose any of these, the red, the green, or the blue. You could have picked the black or the white, but you didn't. And now notice when we've placed these envelopes on the table, we've actually turned our hand over. And now we can simply drop those on top. And job's done. This is now the only one with its glued edge facing up over, so that is the only one that will reveal Labo M. Okay, so let me just run through that again. So if we alternate those like this, and we say, okay, choose a colour. Let's say they choose red. Interesting, you could have chosen green, cutting the red second from top, but you didn't. You chose red. You could have chosen black. We're now going to the second from bottom and turn over 3 times. You could have chose black, but you didn't. In fact, you didn't choose any of these 3. You didn't want the white or the green either. You chose red. Let me tell you why. And now we're basically all set, ready for the reveal. So once again, at full speed, and we shall then detail what happens in the other eventuality. Incidentally, I personally prefer to have a non-flap side envelope on top. The reason being is it's very unlikely that that's chosen, and that means it's far more likely that they're actually going to choose one of the colours which just has a flap facing up over. So if they chose red, in this instance it's great because we don't need to do anything as far as cutting is concerned. We say that's interesting because you could have chosen green, but you didn't. You could have chosen black, which is a popular colour, but you didn't. You could have chose any of those colours, but you didn't. The one that you wanted was red, true? Which is interesting, let me tell you why. And now obviously the job is done. Now, what would happen, let me just set this back up, what would happen if they chose any of the other colours, i.e. if they choose the green in this instance, the white or the black, whereby the flaps aren't facing up? Well, that's very simple. What we do is basically we do the mirror opposite. Rather than cutting their selected colour to second from top, we're actually going to cut it to second from bottom. So if they chose the black one, again, nothing would need to be done because it's already in position. If they chose the white, we would say that's interesting, and we would just cut the stack so that we would make it second from bottom, and we would say because you could have chosen the black. And then what we would do is we would flip the set over, so we're now in the correct position. We'd say, but you chose white. You could have chosen blue, but you didn't. In fact, you didn't want any of these colours. White was the one that you wanted, true? And we're now home and dry. So let me just do that once again. So in setup, we're here. So we'd say, okay, choose your colour, and let's say they chose red. Okay, red, but you could have chosen black, but you didn't want black, you wanted the red, yes? And you could have chosen green, but you didn't want that one, you didn't want any of these colours. Red's the one that you wanted, true? And now basically we're all set to reveal the cards in the right way. Now, one last final point on this, and that is if you don't like the idea of, or this sort of visual indicator of this envelope being the only one with its flap side up, then what you can do is you can actually replace the flaps with pencil dots on the card. So you can get a pencil, and what you may wish to do is just put a pencil dot just to denote the side of the envelope which has got Lab OM facing up over. Okay, so you can mix it up, so we could have it like this and then put Lab OM facing this way and basically put a pencil dot here, which is and then obviously the only thing that we've got to remember when we're doing it this way is we would alternate the pencil dots. So one pencil dot facing up, one pencil dot facing down, one facing up, one facing down. In this way, at the end, you would have a situation where some envelopes are facing up, some envelopes are facing down, and it's more of a sort of chaotic fashion in that sense. So, as I say, the pencil dots can replace the glued edges of the envelope should you wish. Hope that makes sense.
Right, so that's it for Executive Suite. I want to thank David Minton for coming and bringing this to us.
Yeah, we love it.
We absolutely love it. I want to say a big thank you to Mick Wilson, Michael Murray and the guys for giving us their input as well. Absolutely phenomenal. And it is a wonderful effect, and I really hope you enjoy it as much as we do. This is a perfect pack small, play massive effect. To think that these can just fit in your top pocket and you've got an effect that you could perform to a whole room of people.
Yeah, imagine that even just at the end of a wedding, you know, planning their honeymoon. It's awesome, isn't it? Really cool.
There's
really
so many
nice.
Different presentations. We've gone for Paris as well because that will mix nicely if you perform the bit book as well.
Will
for a nice, nice coincidence type effect. But yeah, that's really it for Executive Suite. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for supporting Alex Sam, and make sure you come back and visit us again.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We've got so much coming out, so thank you for supporting everything. And if you pick this up on the live product launch, thank you especially. Guys, our latest products, we always try and do a live product launch. So about 7 o'clock UK time, we'll film a live video, show you guys the live trailer, like the premiere of the trailer and everything like that. And then if you pick it up then and there, we even invite you to the after show where we talk through the product, how it works, what you receive and everything like that. So if you haven't managed to come along to a live launch, then hit the notification bell on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook, and you'll be able to be notified whenever we do go live with a new product.
Yeah. Brilliant. So we'll see you soon right here at Alex Sam Magic.
Lovely. Cheers, guys.